boys and girls, it's Miss Lisa, the art teacher. Welcome back to my table of art. How is everyone doing today? I hope you're all doing well. I'm doing good, thank you very much. I miss you all though, you must know that. Well, today I want to introduce you to an artist. His name is Claude Monet. Claude Monet is a French impressionist. He painted what his impression of nature was and other things. Today we're going to focus on his lily pads, which are very famous from his Japanese garden. He recreated a Japanese garden at his home, and what he did was he incorporated all the things that you would find in a Japanese garden, even including a bridge, to recreate the beauty in his own home. Japan is in one country, and where Claude Monet lived was in France, and that is where he recreated his Japanese garden. He's famous for his lily pads and his images of the reflection of color and light in the water. So we're going to be inspired by his famous lily pads and his famous water and colors in his water. He has a huge painting that he created, and it spans 3 walls almost. It's huge, and it's as high as the ceiling, and it's beautiful. And if you ever get a chance to go to the MoMA, you'll see it there. It's absolutely beautiful. What I'd like to tell you is what we need to get together for this project. Well, first of all, this is what our project should come out looking something like. You could see the blue and white and purple and green colors in the water, which are all the colors that Claude Monet saw from the reflection of the sunlight. And this is what he was most famous for, because he really appreciated the light and the colors. Not everybody agreed with him, but in the beginning, but then towards the end they understood and they seen the beauty in his work. So you're going to receive what's called a template. These are of his lily pads, but we're going to get to that later because you may not need the template. I'm sending you some pink and green paper so we could create our lily pads and the lilies. Some yellow tissue paper for the center of our lily pads. Now it says to use either white, blue, light blue, lilac paper, 12 by 9, but I'm only going to use a small piece for the demonstration. Your piece is going to be bigger, and this is what I'm going to use. And we're going to need paint. We're going to need our listen to me, white, blue, purple, and green. If you don't have these colors, or if you don't have these shades, that's okay. Any value of these colors will do, okay? And of course you're going to need a paintbrush. I like to use this brush when I'm doing this project, but if you only have the pointy kind of a brush, that's quite all right, but I'm going to use this one, okay? And a cup of water. Now, optional, glitter. I'm going to use glitter for mine. We're going to need a black crayon or pastel and some glue, maybe even liquid glue. Let me get some liquid glue, because if I'm going to use glitter, I'm going to need my liquid glue. Okay? So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do, I want to bring you down to my table so you can see what I'm doing, okay? So come on down and see what I'm doing. I have my paper here, and what we want to do is we want to create the glimmering water that Monet had created in his paintings. And the technique that we're going to use is going to be a double loading technique with our paint, but we're going to create lines as we're painting. And we're only going to use water maybe once. So I'm going to dip my brush into my water. I'm dipping my brush in and I'm pulling it back, okay? Just get some of the water off. And then what I want to do is I'm going to start with the white paint. And I'm going to dip it in and like scoop up a little bit of paint. I'm not going to stir it around. I'm just going to dip it in and scoop up a little bit of the white. And then I'm going to choose a color to start with. Here's where we do our double loading technique. I'm going to start with the blue, and I'm going to do the same thing. Dip it in and scoop up a little bit of the paint. Now I'm going to come over to my paper, and I'm just going to start making these streaks. You can turn your brush over. Okay. And we're not worried about being perfect, blending. It's however you paint it on. Again, we're going to dip into the white, and I'm just going to switch over to my green. Now, did you notice I didn't clean my brush? We're not cleaning our brush with this project. We want all the colors that we pick up to just mesh together and create a beautiful glimmering water scene. Going into my purple now. See how I'm just making lines? I turn my brush over and over. It's starting to look almost like Monet's water, doesn't it? And we'll continue doing this until our whole paper is covered with paint. And you could always go back if, oh, I want to make this area a little bit greener or bluer. That's entirely up to you. So we're double loading our paint, and then we're bringing it to the paper. Remember, hold your paper down. Mine keeps flying away from me. Always remember to cover your tabletop too, because you don't want to get paint all over the table. Scooping in the colors. This way we don't mix up all the colors and we could use them throughout the entire project without ruining the colors. So we scoop up the colors instead of stirring and mixing and blending. We're scooping like you're taking a scoop of ice cream from a taste test. And we're making these lines. And this is kind of resembles the reflection of the colors in the water when the sunlight hits it. And this is how Monet's images look, his impressionist paintings. They're not like very, very solid, clear images. They're somewhat blurry, but from a distance they look exactly how they should. But as you get closer to his paintings, like his lilies, it sort of just looks like a blob of colors and not as distinct as a lily might look with such details. That's the beauty of his paintings. Get all the way down to the bottom, don't forget. Especially if you have a coating on your table, you won't have to worry about getting paint on the table. So we're doing Monet. Claude Monet, a French impressionist. You know, back in the day when the impressionists were painting, there were very few women painters. And if there were, they usually had to go under the assumption that they were working for the painters, because it wasn't something that women were supposed to be doing. Times have changed though, thank goodness. And women are allowed to be artists. Wasn't always easy for women. Okay. And look how beautiful all these colors blend together. And revisit the areas. Go back. You don't want to see any of your paper be popping through. You want all the water to cover the entire paper. And this will take you a while because you're going to have the larger sheets of paper and I'm only have this short piece of paper. So enjoy the process. Don't rush it. Take your time. Remember to scoop the colors so that you don't blend all the colors together and ruin your colors. This is so nice. I hope yours is looking as beautiful as I think it is. I just love this project. I love color, so this is a really nice project for me. Okay, so you continue on this, and I'm going to send a nice little video for your teacher to play while you're doing this. And it shows all of Claude Monet's beautiful lilies with beautiful music, soothing music to go with it. So you can enjoy that while you're painting. Double dip. And this is basically how Claude Monet saw the water and the reflection of light in the glimmering water. Okay, so now I'm going to put my paint aside because while you're painting, I'm going to start working on our actual lilies, okay? So let me put my paint away. And let me put my painting away because that needs to dry. Alright, so now I've sent you this template. Now, You could do a few things with this template. You could cut out the template, trace it onto some cardstock so it's a stiff template, and then trace it again and cut it out from your paper. Or I've sent you a circle that you could actually trace onto your paper, because if you look at the lily pad itself, it's actually almost a circle. So if we kind of get the idea, trace the circle on the green paper, and all we have to do is cut out the circle and a little piece of pie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a round object to trace, which you can do that as well. I gotta find something that will fit though. Here we go. I'm going to use, mine is smaller than the piece that I sent you, and I'm going to use my crayon to trace around my shape. This is another option you can do as well. You don't even need the templates, but you want to use as much of the paper as you can. You see what I mean? I'm using the whole paper. There's very little wasted paper. And then when I cut into my paper, I need to remember that I need to take a slice out like a piece of pie. Ready? I'm cutting a piece of pie out. Okay, so that's my lily pad. Now I want to make my lily. So again, you can cut this out and use it as a template, put it on cardstock so it's not as flimsy paper, or we could actually draw our lily. And the easy way to draw a lily is we make a nice smiley face, almost the whole size of this paper. Look at that big smile I made. Then see, here's the first step. Then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a curved line and go into the lily. Then my second line is going to meet that one. So this is our next stage of our lily. And then we're going to make a curved line that meet each other at a point and two little ones on the side. How do you like that? And then we're going to cut this out as well. Now I know I'm going fast, but the beauty of a video is you can pause, catch up, and start the video again. Here we go. All right, so we have our lily. We have the pad, which is very small compared to my lily because I used a small piece of scrap paper I had laying around. Maybe I should have used a larger one, but at least you have the idea. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a small lily to go with that one, so it doesn't look so huge next to it. So I'm just going to get a big piece of green paper, or a bigger piece. Here, I have a bigger one here. Let's see, would this be better? Yeah, that would be better. So I'm going to make a bigger lily pad using a bigger circular shape to trace. Cut it. And you don't have to be perfect with this circle because a lily pad isn't a perfect circle. Cut my pie piece in. There we go. Now it doesn't look so crazy next to this big flower. Okay, so now we have my lily and I have my pad. Now the next step is optional. I have glitter. You don't have to have glitter, but if you want glitter, and if you have some in the classroom or at home, it would be nice to add the glitter to the lilies and the pad. So what I'm going to do, let's start with my lily pad. We have these lines here on the lily pad, so I'm going to actually use my crayon to draw them to make it easier for me when I need to put the glitter on, so I know where to put the glitter. I drew the lines here, very similar here. Now I'll take my glue and I'm going to glue down some lines where my glitter would go. And I'm going to use some green glitter that I have to sprinkle over it. But you know what I need first? I need a piece of paper because I like to save my glitter. So I'm going to sprinkle some green glitter here onto my lily pad. And it's going to just give it a nice little sparkle when it's sitting on that beautiful glimmering water that we painted. Leave my cap open because I need to fill it back. Okay, so I have a glittery, glimmering lily pad. So now watch what I do to save this. I make it like a funnel and bring it back into the jar. There we go. I don't like to waste. Everything costs too much and we don't want to waste. Now I'm going to do the same with my beautiful lily. I have the lines here. Now some people choose not to show the crayon marks or the oil pastel marks and use this side for their picture, but I like the crayons. And it also gives me a line where to put my sparkles. And you don't have to put your sparkles where I'm putting them. You can put them all over the lily if you want. I kind of just want to outline my lily a little bit. And for the lily, I'm using pink. Let me put my glue away. I'm using pink glitter. If I can open it. Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. Oh, leave my lid open because I'm going to save my pink glitter also. Ready? Turn it over. Doesn't that look beautiful? Lots of pretty glitter on my lily. Let's fold the paper so we can save the extra glitter that didn't stick. There we go. Okay, so very little waste, right? That's the way I like to work. Okay, so now what we need to do, we need to glue our lily pad onto our glimmering water. Now obviously mine's not dry yet. I'm rushing this more before I should. But I want you to see how beautiful it's going to look in the beautiful glimmering water. So we're going to need to put some glue on the back part of our lily. So I'm going to get my glue out. And spread the glue onto my lily pad. Turn it around, and I think I'll glue it right over here towards the front. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Okay, now I need to take my lily, and I'm going to glue this on top of the pad. So I'm going to spread my glue all through my lily, trying to avoid my finger. I'm going to put that right on top of the pad. How about right here? Now we're not done. I also sent you some tissue paper. So take one of those pieces of tissue paper and just crumple it into a ball. When you're done crumpling it into a ball, find the center of your lily pad, make a nice hefty wad of glue, and then stick the tissue paper into the lily pad. How beautiful did that look? That is absolutely beautiful. Now, I put this towards the front of the image because as a viewer, that's the first thing you see. It's closest to you. So it's big. But this lily pad, remember the one I made that was small? I'm going to put this one back here. And let me add some, I'm not even going to add glitter to this one. I just want to put it onto the paper to show you the difference between the size of items when they are near to you or farther away. And this one is further away, so it's going to be smaller. And I'm also going to make another lily to put on that pad. That's more its size. I'm starting with my smiley face. Curved line coming in. Second curved line coming in. Two curved lines coming to a point, and two little ones. And then I'm going to cut this out. Okay? I made a smaller lily. So things that are close to you as a viewer on a painting will be larger. Things that are further away are going to be smaller. This is a way for artists to show space. And space is one of our elements of art. Space in their images. Look at how beautiful. Oh my God, I love this project. These lilies are gorgeous. Now we need to just add a little tissue paper, which I'm going to take half of the paper that I used for the one in the front, because obviously it's much smaller, so the little wad is going to be much smaller. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. There you go, boys and girls. Monets Lilies, the French Impressionist, has inspired us to make a work of art. So I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed making it with you. Let me bring you up. So remember, Claude Monet is a French Impressionist artist. He concentrated on light, the way light hit objects, the way light hit the water. And he appreciated the colors that came from the water with the light. And here we have lilies that are inspired by his Japanese garden that he created in his home. So we want to remember that. We want to remember also about space, which is the element of art. As a viewer, things that are closest to you are larger, things that are farther away are smaller, which is a way artists create space in their paintings or drawings. Okay? So with that, this is Miss Lisa, your art teacher, saying ciao for now from my table of art, and I'll see you kids next week. Enjoy the project. Bye-bye.